Hey there, hi, and welcome to my podcast, guys. Welcome to another episode of Let's Talk with Carl E. Long. My name is Carl, and I am so glad that you are joining me again for my podcast here, guys. I am on my series. My series now is Trump Talk. Guys, we have a new president, one that I didn't vote for, one that maybe you didn't vote for either, and we are watching and talking and making sure that the American people get the truth about what's going on. So what is America talking about today? Let's get right into what America is talking about today. It's only been a few weeks. It feels like years. And here we have Trump in his second term. And I'm calling this the revenge tour. If you listen to my episode 1, talk more about that. The revenge tour. Everything that Trump has said in the campaign trail is pretty much coming to fruition. He's doing it. He's doing it. All of you that says he's just talking, he's just campaigning, that's what he's saying. No, he is doing everything that he says. And you know what else? It's also checking off just about everything that's in Project 2025. That was the document that he's disavowed and said that it has nothing to do with him. And a lot of the Democrats pulled back and they wouldn't talk about it because he said that. And he's a known liar. And we took the bait. And this is what we got. All right. So that's why we're on Trump watch this whole 4 years, guys. We have got to never put our guards down. We have to hold him accountable for all the things that he's doing. So the nature of this podcast today, guys, is going to be MAGA regrets. Yes. MAGA regrets. Believe it or not, there's a lot going on. There's a lot of people that voted for him are like having second thoughts. And this is mainly the people that are normally Democratic voters that slipped over there for whatever reason, decided that he was the better choice. These are your independents mostly, and a lot of Democrats who just changed their minds. And now they're regretful. And then you have a few of the MAGA folks. But that MAGA base, that hard base, they could care less. They could care less what he does because he is their racist leader. And a lot of them, that's all they wanted was to deport people that weren't like them and cut all the government out. And they just don't care. They just needed a leader. And that's who they wanted. And that's who they got. And some of them are happy. So, as I said, he's been cashing in on all of his promises. All of them. But then there's a lot of new stuff that's going on. With the Los Angeles fires, there's been so much controversy around that. The fact that Trump was trying to bargain with the governor that he will send him relief if he does this and he does that, or whatever, which was kind of not sympathetic of any president. California is a part of these United States of America. And whenever there is a disaster or there is something like famine or whatever, the wildfires, he should have just been at his beck and call, politics aside, go over there, talk to him. But no, he wants to put things on the bargain table. So here's something that he did, too, that was kind of crazy. Trump decided, and who tells him this stuff? This is what kills me. He decided, and somebody had to tell him because he's not this smart. He doesn't care about stuff like this. Somebody always is in his ear, right? Someone told him that California has all this water that they're just keeping up in these reservoirs and not releasing it. That was the reason why a lot of the firefighters' pumps were not working, and that is not true. It was just all the stress of all the different fire vehicles that were in the city. They were just exhausting the available water faster than it was pumping. So that's what was going on with that. But there was never a issue of not being enough water or someone keeping water to save some sort of a fish, the smelt. I think he says, so he must have heard that from some environmentalist or somebody who was anti-environmentalist, that they were trying to save the environment for some animal in order to keep people from getting water and saving their houses. That's not true. These are all lies. So what Trump did, guys, he told the Army Corps of Engineers. Now, let me tell you something about Trump. The states have their own power. There's a lot of jurisdiction that the federal government does not have jurisdiction over. But anytime it is of a federal nature, he can do it. The Army Corps of Engineers basically handles every reservoir and body of water in the United States, and they're kind of the ones that manage what happens. And Trump can send the Army Corps of Engineers to do whatever he wants. So he had them to open up the dams to let the water flow out. But this is not the right thing. This is not going to help LA at all. This water is flowing all the way down. This is the water they use for farmers, and they keep it there because in the drought months, they're able to send water down the valleys to all the farmers so that they can get water. So he's had them to open it up now, which is not the right time. This is the winter months. That water needs to be saved. So I want you to listen to what what was said about the water and what's going on with that. So let's watch this video and you'll hear what's going on with the water in California and what Trump did. Here we go.
Wildfires in Los Angeles last month. President Trump claimed that California withheld water supplies that could have made a difference fighting the flames. He then ordered the Army Corps of Engineers to release billions of gallons of water. Many local leaders say they were caught off guard. One of them called it a reckless photo op. And as Jonathan Bigliotti reports, none of that water will get anywhere near Los Angeles.
We want to get that water pouring down here as quickly as possible, let hundreds of millions of gallons of water flow down into Southern California.
This is just stupid and ridiculous and dangerous and wasteful.
California Senator Adam Schiff is slamming President Trump's order to maximize water releases from 2 reservoirs last Friday.
Were you made aware that this was going to happen?
I think even the water managers got only a short bit of notice to say, please don't, you can't do that, that's way too much water. And frankly, had they not talked the Army Corps off the ledge, there would have been serious flooding. It would have been an even bigger problem.
Billions of gallons of water are now rushing into a dry lake bed in the state's Central Valley, where scientists say it can't flow south and will likely go to waste.
There is absolutely no connection between this water and the water needed for firefighting in LA. There's no physical connection. There's no way to move the water from where it is to the Los Angeles basin.
Peter Glick, a climate and hydrology expert, says the move ignores the reality of water management in California.
The farmers in the basin own the water, and that water is stored in these dams in the winter during the rainy season so that farmers can use it in the very hot, long, dry summer season. From the perspective of the farmers in the basin, I think that water will soon to be lost.
Look, if you don't want it, you're going to tell me, but I can't imagine it.
My understanding is the water's still flowing.
This is a waste of precious water, and we just don't have the water to waste.
For CBS Mornings, I'm Jonathan Bigliotti, Los Angeles.
So there you go. So you heard all the experts and you heard what they're saying, but he's like some big baby. You know, if it doesn't get his way, he just does it anyway, no matter how catastrophic it is. Billions of gallons of water going to waste to this lake area in the desert that's just going to be sitting there and just being wasted. Nobody can tell this man anything. Who is going to tell this guy? Who is not afraid to stand up to Donald Trump? I don't understand this. I never will understand what is going on here, guys. It is just crazy. It really is just crazy. But you know what? There was one person who I think who was strong enough and who would have just totally stood up to Trump. Yes, I do think there was one person, and that would have been in the likings of dear Kamala Harris. She was a strong woman who was not afraid of Trump. Like she said, she's used to handling people like him. And if they had just listened to her, we would not be in this deal. And that's the reason why he didn't debate her the second time, because she devoured him. Here's a little bit of that debate, just so you remember what went on, just to know that we had a good thing going on. And Kamala needs to be not thinking of anything other than we were very proud of her. Listen to this, a little bit of this debate.
People start leaving his rallies early out of exhaustion and boredom.
She said people start leaving. People don't go to her rallies. There's no reason to go. People don't leave my rallies. We have the biggest rallies, the most incredible rallies in the history of politics.
A few moments later.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats. As far as rallies are concerned, as far as the reason they go is they like what I say.
Not everybody got handed $400 million on a silver platter and then filed bankruptcy 6 times?
A few moments later.
She wants to do transgender operations on illegal aliens that are in prison.
Donald Trump was fired by 81 million people. So let's be clear about that. And clearly he is having a very difficult time processing that. World leaders are laughing at Donald Trump.
Let me just...
So you see that? That is the reason why he didn't want to debate her again. She was not afraid to handle Donald Trump. The Democrats now, they're just like sitting there. We're going, where are the Democrats? That's the big question. Where are the Democrats? Who is standing up to Donald Trump? There's no people in his ear who have any value these days. He's fired all of them. They're no longer supporting him. There's maybe a couple of people in that White House that may be in his ear. But guys, he is on rogue. He is on a rogue tour and dangerous. He let all that water out. That was dangerous. That was irresponsible. But you guys, I'm putting this information out here because you have to understand. I'm talking to you MAGA people as well. Your candidate is very dangerous to our country. I don't know how you want to put it. You can think otherwise. I don't know what it's going to take for you guys to realize what is going on here. I mean, he's doing the crazy stuff as well as he doesn't want any people to be ethnic whatsoever. So, of course, there's been word around him talking about canceling Black History Month. He can try to cancel it, but it's going on. Trust me. You will hear about Black History Month from every African American. You're not taking that smallest month of the year and the coldest month away from Black Americans. That's not happening. So you might as well get that out of your head. And it's going to be Asian month. It's going to be Latino, whatever month that comes up, you know, it's happening. It's not like we don't have, I guess they think that there's no white month. Okay. What do you think St. Patrick's Day is? That's one. You celebrate that. That's an ethnic, that's Irish people. They're white. Okay. So don't get me started with that and canceling Black History Month. I just don't understand this whole bit. So another question I ask and I want you guys to ponder is, why did Trump pick Panama and Greenland to go after, you know, and Canada? It seems kind of strange, but this one little TikToker kind of brought it up, and it made a lot of sense to me as to why he would do something like that. So I want you to see what he kind of said here about what Greenland and the reason why he's doing that stuff like that. So let's see if I can find that one here. And it's basically all of those things that he did. There's something to do with Putin. Yes, dear Vladimir Putin. Yep. Okay, so let's listen to what this little TikToker says. He makes a lot of sense. Here we go.
So Greenland has a major military facility that's there to help protect NATO and Europe in case of a foreign attack from, well, Russia, basically. And Canada, well, Canada has the rights to this bunch of oil and natural gas reserves, as well as the maritime routes for them. And Putin wants those demolished. Now, Panama currently has sanctions against Russian vessels traveling through the Panama Canal. So when Donnie is talking about all three of these places, it's on behalf of Vlad. Just like everything that he's done since he was bailed out by Russia in the 80s after he lost all of his daddy's money in bankrupt hotels and casinos in Atlantic City. See, those of us that have been paying attention and that read about history know this shit.
All right, so you see what he's saying? The reason for Panama is the Panama Canal. There are sanctions. Panama has put sanctions on Russia, so their ships can't pass through there. So he's been talking to Vladimir Putin, so let's go and get it back, and I'll get you in there, okay? All right, Greenland. Greenland has one of the largest bases for the Allies right there in Greenland to help with some of the NATO countries and everything else. Putin wants that gone because they're too close to him. He doesn't want that there. And then Canada, it's all about the oil and the gas and everything else, the embargo there. And Canada's not being really nice to him on that. So he wants some of that oil and whatever. So all these are three things that Putin wants. So I'm telling you, everything Donald Trump does, it's something about him or one of his cronies. And you heard how Kamala says that the world leaders are laughing at him. They're using him. When you have a person that's this much of a narcissist, all you got to do is stroke their ego. do it like, man, you know, you're the best leader. Just tell him how good he is, and we know you can do it. That's what you do to them. It's like child's play. And there you have it. So there's a reason behind everything, guys. He could care less. Panama, out of the blue, just pick Panama. You know, think about it. Why? I mean, we had a treaty. Panama is doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're an independent country, and they are allies with the United States. We have not had any problems with them. There's nothing going on, but because Putin ships have been, they have put a sanction on their ships going through the docks that dear Donald has been talking to him. And we all know that. Pay attention. Pay attention, guys. That's right. So, you know, with that, we also had the tariffs this week. The tariffs on Canada and the tariffs on Mexico. He put those in, and then they will pull back after he talked to both of those leaders, and they supposedly did a little negotiation that Canada's going to do some stuff as well as Mexico. There's a little bargaining there, but it's only been like a 30-day pause of both of them. All right. So some of your Republican pundits, Scott Jennings on CNN, who is one of my favorites, and I say that facetiously, have said that this is all just scare tactics just to get them to negotiate things that he really wants. Okay, I can say maybe that might be it, but then again, to tell the truth, Trump, you lost because they ended up telling you got to do some things too. So you didn't go in there and win. You came in there with, you do this, then I'll do that. That was not a win. You negotiated. You didn't bully them like you thought you were going to do. And they've already told you that you put tariffs on, so will they. And who's going to get hurt by this? The American people, everyone. Tariffs are going to raise prices. And those of you that don't care, fine. But those of you that thought that he wasn't going to do this, he's doing it now. He is doing it now. So here we are, guys. Here we are in the first few weeks of the Trump kingdom. And we are going through all of this stuff, and it's hitting us so quickly that nobody can keep up. Nobody can keep up with everything. And then you have these spineless Republicans who are so afraid of getting primaried or getting blasted, and they won't get reelected, that they won't say a word. But Democrats will tell you, a lot of Democrats will tell you that behind closed doors, they are scared, they're worried, and they don't agree with what he's saying, but they will never, ever do it. Isn't this a crazy predicament the American people are in? The American people are in this because of some spineless Republicans who won't do the right things. And I'm going to blame it on them. I'm going to blame it a little bit on the Democrats too, because we didn't do our messaging right. We should not have allowed this to happen, but it did. Kamala did a great job. She got out there. She worked hard, and we didn't do our due diligence. Our messaging was all off, everybody. And here we are. So I told you I was going to talk about MAGA regrets. So what I did, I went out and I panned the internet. I looked for all kinds of things, and there's so much out on TikTok and on X talking about all of these people that voted for Donald Trump, and now they're out there doing, I regret I voted for Donald Trump videos. It's quite a few out there. But just as many as there are regrets, there's a lot of them that say they don't regret. So you can't really tell who's what, but there's a lot of people out there that regret it. Those people that are regretted are probably the ones that would have helped us win this election if you had just listened to what we were trying to tell you. But no, nobody wanted to listen. So let's just go through a cavalcade of some of these little clips I found on TikTok and X and listen to some of the MAGA regrets from some of the good people out there. And all of us that told you, we're not being too sympathetic about it. So we're just kind of listening to them and going, And then the word that is out there, and you know what it means, FAFO. I'll say fool around. Fool around and find out is what that means. But that's not the real word. You know what it really means. Fooled around and find out what's going to happen. So that's what happened with your vote. All right, here we go with the first regret. And I'll stop between each one and just kind of chat and say, if it's anything lucrative that we need to chat about. So here we go.
Like you, I'm sure you've been seeing videos of people saying, "Oh snap, now that Trump's in, I didn't really realize he was going to do all of these things. He's not caring about the bird flu and making the price of eggs lower. He's doing things that are affecting me. I can no longer access my Medicaid, even though that wasn't supposed to happen. I'm still having trouble, accessing my child's account, or, FEMA's being taken away, and I was supposed to be a recipient of some FEMA help." That one particular lady goes on about the things. But I've seen other videos where people are saying specifically, "Oh, this is really bad, and I regret my vote." It's easy for us who saw this coming 500 miles away to feel satisfaction, to want to gloat in the face of that. But here's the thing, we're all here. And the more we hear these people speak out, the more people we have fighting for us. And I want their fight. I don't, I'm not about, well, you voted for him, you don't have the right to fight against him now. Listen, we need all the help we can get. So if these people are seeing the light now, and if they're saying, no, I'm going to fight with you against all this stuff, yes, please. Yes, please, because we need all the help we can get. So gloat with your friends. Feel that little bit of satisfaction of "I told you so." But we need to encourage these people. Thank you for having the courage to speak out now. It is too late, but now that you're here, keep speaking out, and please join us in the fight. That's the only way we're going to get through this, because we have to continue to welcome the people who are going to be suffering along with us over to the side of the fight if we're going to win the fight.
All right, bravo, bravo. She said it all. She said it all. So she, like me, have been out there and just looking at these videos. I'm just scrolling through them. I'm so sorry I voted for Trump. I didn't know. I really didn't understand. But she's right. All right, it's too late. He's in there. Join the fight. Join the fight. We need all that we can, because apparently everybody's afraid of Donald Trump. I often wondered, if I met him, what would I do? Would I give him the respect because he's the president? Would I be in like awe because I see him? I don't know. I think think that I would probably look at him so angrily that I don't know what I would do. I really don't know, but I'm not afraid of him. I wish I had a chance to talk to him, actually, to get into his head so he can call me some dumb liberal. He probably would just start name calling. So let's go to the next one here and see what we have here.
Hello there, ladies, gentlemen, and gentle them. I'm just coming up on here to just touch base with everybody, especially for the first week of the new administration. This is also kind of a confessional video of sorts, because I'm former MAGA. I voted for Trump 2016 and 2020. I felt the whole outrage when he didn't win the second time around. But when it comes to deconstructing my Christian faith and my evangelicalism and everything like that, of course, I did not expect my political views to start rolling along with it. And so I did vote, for Harris this time. I've seen the light, and I got out of MAGA. So I just wanted you to know that if you ever wonder what it feels like for some of us former MAGAs, I can't speak for all of us, but sometimes I do struggle with guilt over doing what I did. It's just, I hate myself for this. I hate myself. for supporting this the first 2 times. I didn't the third. I'm glad I didn't.
So we are so glad you didn't do it the third time. But do you see how people are starting to can somebody please explain to me what was the big rock that hit her over her head that made her think that this bad? I mean, she's up there. She's about to cry. She feels bad. She voted for Harris, but she feels bad about voting for Trump both times. But it took 2 election cycles to figure out that he's a liar. He's a cheat. He's done stuff to his wife. What does it take? I am so dumbstruck by this, guys. It just really floors me. I mean, but it took that many cycles for her to get where she was. I'm just trying to put this in perspective to see how hard it is to crack this MAGA group. It's hard. It's hard. Listen to the next one. This is about some teachers.
15 states that most rely on federal funding for its public schools all voted for Trump.
I voted for President Trump.
You didn't vote for Trump eliminating federal funds?
No, I did not vote for that. I voted for President Trump to make America first again. I do not think that's what the voters want. It's devastating.
Do you know what getting rid of the Department of Education, getting rid of the mechanisms by which that support is delivered, it means it goes away. Trying to uplift states that are experiencing major either shortcomings, failures in governance, or just happen to be for systemic reasons, struggling more. No matter how much you may hate me, MAGA, I want you to get that extra support. But Trump wants to get rid of it. And it would be devastating. She's realizing how messed up this would be for her after voting for it. When you look at these women, I don't want to go, well, you're going to get what you voted for. No, even if she's actively enabling the problem, I want to push back against that problem. One of the most admirable jobs and so important. But we have to get through that you can't vote for the people saying they want to hurt you.
He hit something. Why do you vote for people that saying you're going to hurt from? Here is a teacher who voted for Trump. He's going to get rid of the Department of Education. They have no idea what the Department of Education does for the state governments and how much money they send and what they do. And a lot of these programs like Head Start, a lot of the programs that are for the kids, all that goes away. You're going to feel it. Your children are going to feel it. Your classroom is going to feel it. So it's like, I don't understand why people aren't able to figure this stuff out. Now, this next one is about small business. This is a small business woman who figured something out. Listen to this one.
Yeah, we voted for Trump in 2016, 2020, and 2024. We live in the Florida Panhandle, and we thought that this would be good for our business, but we're finding out now that we were wrong, and I want to publicly say that we are regretting our votes at this point. My husband and me own a construction company, and we literally do not have workers anymore. Most of our workers are from Mexico, and they're good, hard workers. I talked to a few of them, and they said they were just too scared to come back to work because of all the raids. Our construction company is likely to go out of business now, and we don't know what we're going to do. But we're never voting for a Republican again. Ron DeSantis and Trump have been passing laws that negatively affect our business, and I just want to say that I'm sorry for voting for him. I grew up Republican, and it's all I've ever known, but now I can see that me and my whole family have been very wrong about this. So we hope that 2026 comes and we can take back the House and the Senate and stop him from what he's doing. There's a special election coming up in Matt Gaetz's district, and we're going to do everything we can to advocate for a Democrat taking that seat.
Bravo. Small business person. Most of her staff are of Hispanic heritage. They're going to be gone. They're scared. They won't even come to work. So she said that she may have to close down her business because there's nobody working. I'm sorry, guys, but other nationalities are just not doing these jobs. I'm not trying to demean the Latino people at all. They have a skill at doing this kind of stuff. It's not a down at all. They are good at it. They're good at construction. They're good at handyman work. They're good at this stuff, and they love to do it. The men are trained to do this stuff, and this is what they do. The ladies are trained to do the stuff that they do. This is what they do, and they love it. They just want to work. And now he's going and gotten all of the workers who are in process, who are here for asylum, who are dreamers and all these other things that are not yet American citizens or have green cards, afraid to even come to work. So it hurt this lady's business, but she made a good point. They're going to go after Matt Gaetz' district, make sure he doesn't get elected, and give that back to the Democrats. That's progress. Do that. That's good. We need as many people out there doing what they can to stop Donald Trump that we can. We can do this together. Let's go to another one. This is going into the Latino support, who supported Donald Trump a lot. They supported him a lot. So let's just go into this, and we'll talk about this one here.
They took my wife.
This man, who wished not to be identified, says his wife is from Venezuela and has lived in the United States for a few years. She was one of 3 people taken from this home. I'm told the 2 others were men who worked in construction. You see them here. This video, only 1 minute and 52 seconds long, we do not see his wife being removed from the home. But this is a picture of her that he keeps in his wallet. Her name is Vianis Ramirez, and he says she was in the process of becoming a United States citizen.
She already had a court date. She was good. Everything's good. He just came in and snatched her.
These are pictures from the Department of Homeland Security detaining other undocumented men and women in Broward County.
It's despicable what they're doing right now. It's very embarrassing.
President Donald Trump arrived at his Trump National Golf Resort in Doral Saturday, set to host GOP leaders for a conference. This man hopes this message makes it to him.
If I get a chance to talk to you, man, yo, please, man, let's work something out. So you, man, let me keep my wife here in the United States, man. She deserves to be here, man.
ICE reports nearly 1.
So he voted for Donald Trump in Florida. Wow. Florida, the Latinos in Florida came out for Donald Trump a lot, especially with the Cuban population and then some of the Haitian population. They come from these countries where, I don't know, I don't think they understand democracy, and it's strange how they vote. Most of them end up voting for Republicans because of they think that Democrats are more socialists, and I don't understand where their thought process comes in on that, but his wife is gone. His wife is gone because she had a court date. They don't care. None of that's going. If you're not in here with the right papers now, he's sending everybody back. He hasn't made any provisions whatsoever for court dates, asylum people, or green cards are okay. Green card is like your final way to stay here. You're not an American citizen yet, but you have your green card, which means you can stay and you can work on citizenship from here. You're okay to stay in this country. Okay? But not. You cannot, until you get citizenship, you can't vote or anything like that with a green card. In some states, I think you can. I'm not sure about that. I have to look that up. All right, so here's another one. This is we just did the one that did the immigration here. Let's go to this one here. I think we've done that one. Let's do this one here, this guy.
All I can say, I was a dumbass, voted for Trump only because of my beliefs. People around me encouraged it. I can think for myself, yes. But I felt at the time that was the better choice. Now I'm looking at it with everything going on. It was the worst decision I ever made. I wanted not to vote. But people said you won't be able to have a say in anything if you don't vote. I totally regret this. I shouldn't have voted at all.
Okay, so that's a situation where it's like you do it because your family's always done it. You know, a lot of people have voted Republican all their lives, you know, just because that's what you do in a red state. And he says he thinks for himself, but he thought for himself. So he said he thinks for himself, but he still voted for Trump. But now he realized, welcome. I welcome you to the fold. Here's one more.
This is why I voted for Trump, and this is why I regret it. I am a small business owner. I'm a mother of 5 kids. Like, I was genuinely doing what I thought was best. Literally every bad thing that I'm reading in my comments of my other video, I had no idea actually happened. Like, literally I am new to every single thing that I'm saying. And I'm not using ignorance as an excuse. I'm just explaining to you that I actually had no idea. And I'm most likely not the only person that had no idea about any of this stuff. And now that I do, I will forever talk on these things. I had no idea that he has been scamming people as long as he has. And while I can't get into detail about the story that changed my mind, I met a man that is on his final days, and he is a small business owner just like me, a husband, a father. I'm a wife, a mother. And he used his small business to do a lot of work for Trump, and Trump's bill was in the hundreds of thousands of dollars, and when he tried to collect his money, Trump literally told him to sue him for it. Yes, this man has proof, and yes, he has been sharing his story. This is the first time I have ever heard of something like this, and I am so mind blown, and now, of course, the more that I read...
All right, so that was funny. So she just not figured it out? I guess that I'm the kind of person, I mean, everybody's not like me, and maybe you as well, that we understand and we get into the news and we try to understand what's going on in our country. A lot of people don't do that. Believe it or not, a lot of people don't know a lot about what goes on in this country. Believe it or not. I can tell by my family in the family text when it was time to vote. They had no idea who the candidates were or anything, especially the younger people in my family. And I understand what she's saying. It's the truth. But we got to be more responsible, guys. We have to be more responsible. Otherwise, we'll end up with a Donald Trump like we did. Now, this next lady, she is one that's out there who is countering. And there's a bunch of these videos out there like this that are saying, all us liberals are saying we don't regret. But these are the ones that are countering our message. Listen to her.
MAGA's getting what we voted for. We know, and we're here for it. The cost of eggs is the least of our worries, and it should be y'all's too. If paying more for eggs clears out our corrupt government, I'll pay $20 a carton. President Trump is clearing up decades upon decades of wasteful spending. The American people are now finally becoming aware of where our tax dollars have been going for years. And it ain't been going to us. It's been going exactly where we've said, in all these people's pockets, but ours. So for y'all to keep on saying, oh, y'all voted for lower egg prices and gas prices, I don't give a damn what it costs to fill my gas tank up and what it costs for me to buy a carton of eggs. What I do give a damn about is knowing exactly where all my tax dollars have been going for all these years. Because I'll be damned if I continue to fund these politicians' pockets in other countries.
All right, so what she said in the last word was other countries. Remember that. Other countries. She's concerned about the American spending. Why? You know, your tax dollars. I mean, if they stop doing the spending, is it going to come back to us? Probably not. But she said the key word is other countries. That's some of that inbred stuff that people don't like, people that are not like them around. Other countries. Like we're sending money everywhere. We do this because we are the humanitarian country. You know what? So maybe she doesn't want to send money overseas to help. I don't know. But do you hear what I'm saying? Americans can be very selfish sometimes. And I mean, our country, it should be the leader. We shouldn't be the one who, you know, we do help other countries. Yes, we do. Because we do the right thing. That's what we do. So, you know, so what are the voters just saying? Let's just look at some of the stuff the voters are just saying really quick here. And I'll just read these really quick. All right, so what are Trump voters saying now that he's in office is there's still wide support. Recent polls indicates that Trump still enjoys a considerable support among his voters, but there are still some signs of shifting opinions. According to a Morning Consult poll, 52% of Trump voters approve of his performance in office, while 44% disapprove. This is a slight decline in approval compared to earlier in his term. It's interesting to see how options can evolve over time. So do you think, question for you, these shifts are due to specific policies or events, or is there a broader trend at play? What do you think? What is going on? You think people are starting to open up and really see what's going on? I think that it's starting to shift a little bit. Well, let's see. I wanted to find out this question. What is the breakdown of voter support around racial demographic groups based on recent polls? These are recent polls, like just recently. White voters. Trump continues to have a strong support among white voters, with about 59% of white men, 53% of white women supporting him. Black voters. Black voters saw a slight increase in support among black voters with 16%. That's high for us, guys. Black voters support him in 24 election up from 8% in 2020. That hurt a lot. Okay, Latino voters. This is the one that really hurt. Trump's support among Latino voters also increased, with 42% of Latino voters supporting him in 2024 compared to 35%. In Asian American voters, it's always hard. I don't know why it's always so hard to count Asian votes. Trump made gains with Asian American voters as well, those specific percentages by various subgroups within the Asian committee. So I don't know why there's always such a hard thing to gauge Asian voters. That's kind of strange to me, but that's what's going on there. Let's see polls on voter sentiment. Yes, there have been some polls examining how Trump voters feel now compared to their opinions before and after presidency. For example, a Politico Morning Consult poll found that Trump voters' opinions on several issues shifted significantly after his victory. Before the election, 9 in 10 Trump supporters believed voter fraud was a serious issue, but after he won, only about 1/3 maintained that belief. Okay? Additionally, Trump supporters were more optimistic about the economy after his election, while Harris supporters became more negative. This indicates that voters' perceptions can change quite a bit based on the outcomes and actions of the administration. It's interesting to see how these opinions are going to evolve over time. Now, here's another question. Do you think these shifts are temporary, or do they represent a more permanent change in the perspective? What do you think? I don't know. Maybe people are wising up. We'll find out. Let's see. Polls on Trump so far. Polls on President Trump's economic action show a mix of optimism and concern. This is on economic. According to a recent Gallup poll, 61% of Americans believe the stock market will rise in the next 6 months, and 52% expect economic growth. However, 45% of respondents think Trump's policies will help the national economy, while 39% believe they won't. It seems these opinions are divided, and some feeling positive about the economic outlooks and others skeptical about the impact of Trump policies. Do you think economic policies will ultimately benefit the country? I don't. Because he's not a good businessman. I mean, a lot of stuff of his fails. What has he succeeded at? Do you know what I mean? It always fails. But he, in his mind, is going to tell you that it didn't. And he believes that. He doesn't believe that he's had bankruptcies. What were they? He will deny it in a minute. But he went to bankruptcy court. So you mean this guy's delusional. Here's another one. Okay, President Trump's approval rating during the first 45 days in office has been a mixed bag, according to a recent Reuters Ipsos poll. 45% of participants approve of Trump's actions so far, while 46% disapprove. This marks a slight decrease from earlier this month, so it's going down. It's worth noting that Trump's approval ratings have fluctuated significantly over time, and opinions on his executive actions, such as withdrawing from the Paris Agreement and ending diversity, equity, and inclusion initiatives, have been polarizing. Now, do you think this approval rating will stabilize, or do we expect more fluctuations? I think it's going to continue to go down. I don't wish a president to be unsuccessful because it affects the American people. I would love for him to turn everything around and do the right thing and be successful. I do. But he's never going to do that, guys, because that's not who he is. He can't be that person. He can't be this person. A man that has his own family that's just trying to tell us, and we don't listen, you know. So let's talk about the polls on tariffs. What are people saying? All right. Public opinion on tariffs, especially those imposed by President Trump, has been largely negative. According to a January 2025 Associated Press NORC poll, only 29% of Americans support tariffs on all imports. Then what are we doing it for? We're just dumb, okay? The sentiment is shared across the political spectrum, including among some Republicans. Many Americans are concerned about the potential economic impact, such as higher prices for goods and potential retaliation from trade partners. Business groups and Republican politicians have also voiced opposition, warning that tariffs could harm U.S. manufacturers, farmers, and consumers. It seems like there's a consensus that tariffs might not be the best approach for addressing trade issues. No, they are not. He's using them as a bargaining chip, but in the meantime, the tariffs have already been he pulled them back for 30 days with Canada and Mexico. But in the meantime, the stock market it went down. People lost money today. What is today? February 4th, today, because he did that. People lost money. So you're playing with people's 401ks are in there. They lost money because you're playing bargaining with tariffs. And the stock market is affected. Businesses don't even know what to do. They're scared to invest. Everybody's at a standstill because we're waiting on dear Donald Trump to get through his childish rant of showing that he's in control. I'm so sick of it. I don't know what to do. Now here's a poll on immigration. I agree that we have an immigration problem. We have an immigration issue because there's so many people that are coming here. So many. I mean, I can feel it in my own personal neighborhood and the stores and everything. You can tell there's a large influx of people that are here. I don't mind them here. But if they're here and they're coming in unmanageable amounts that we can't manage them, there needs to be something redone. Sure, make it there's a pathway to citizenship, but it needs to be done in a different way. Because the thing that's really killing us now is under Joe Biden was they are coming here and waiting on court dates, but they allow them to stay in the country until the court date comes. We shouldn't do that. To me, they should just get a court date and come back when it's time. I agree with that. So this one is going to be more on the American people. This is what the polls say here. Okay, public opinion on President Trump's handling of immigration and border issues has been quite divided. According to a recent Gallup poll, 68% of Americans believe Trump has a mandate. We believe he has a mandate. We knew he was going to do this. A mandate to address illegal immigration. However, opinions on his specific policies, such as building a wall and detaining immigrants accused of crimes, vary widely. I mean, he keeps saying that all these criminals, it's not that many criminals. I mean, he's making it sound like there's criminals everywhere. It's not. While some Americans support stricter immigration measures, others are concerned about the humanitarian impact and potential legal issues. It's clear that immigration remains a highly polarizing issue. What are your thoughts on immigration and the approach to border security? I mean, I think we need work on that. We had a great deal. He messed up the deal. He didn't want to do the deal because he wanted to do this. All right. He wanted to be the knight in shining armor. Guys, understand Donald Trump. He's like some big kid that has to have his way, and he's using the American people as pawns to do it. He's playing with reservoirs and people's lives and messing with the armed forces. He's putting people in place that are dangerous. I mean, it's just his cabinet picks. This is scary. So that is why I am on Trump watch, guys. I'm on Trump watch. So that's my picture for today. I wanted to give you just a look into what's going on out there. You have a lot of people that are regretting what they did. So maybe those are some supporters that will gain some support. And then in the midterms, we can get the Senate and the House back, and then we can stop this madness for good. He'll have to executive order and veto his butt off. Well, all he'll have power to do. Because the Republicans are not going to do it because they're afraid. They have no spines, and they want to win elections. And I understand that's your job. But there's a lot of stuff going on in Washington, guys, that needs overhaul. Trump thinks he's the one to do it. He's not. So conversations need to be had. Bipartisanship needs to be working, and we need to get our country back on track. All right. That's my rant for today, guys. So I hope you enjoyed this particular episode of Let's Talk with Carl E. Long. MAGA regrets. That was our theme for tonight. So thank you so much for joining me on this episode of my podcast. And guys, if you're listening to this podcast on wherever you listen to your podcasts, on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Amazon Music, you can also check me out on my YouTube page if you want to see the actual video of this particular podcast. All right? So you have a wonderful day, and thank you so much. Until the next episode, bye now.